Hey there guys, so our new anime starts from today onwards and it's set in a world where a variety of beings reside, like dragon youths, elves, orcs, dwarfs, demons, dark elves, beastmen and humans. As such, our guy Light comes from a humble family and left the village to become an adventurer in a city so that his whole family could live comfortably. With that dream he did arrive in the city, but humans aren't exactly respected. Even so, he went to the guild and filled out the paperwork to register. Light had a gift of unlimited gacha pull with which he can bring out random things, but they are of the lowest of the low quality, so that makes him start with rank F. A bottom feeder that can only take minor or labor jobs around town. Light wasn't literate, so the girl helped him pick out a few jobs, and seeing it as the start of his new life, Light worked hard and yet got only pennies in return. And even that got snatched away by a bunch of goons who ran into him and took his money as ransom. But while he was down, an elf girl approached him and Light quickly pulled away from taking her hand because he was dirty. But the girl got on her knees in that dirt and hugged him to let him know she doesn't have prejudice against humans like others do. She introduced Light to her people. They are called the Concord of Tribes, that has all the races because they believe everyone was created by the goddess, so there shouldn't be any prejudice. Then one by one everyone introduced themselves to Light, and if Light accepts their invitation, their party will be complete. Their one true goal is to eliminate this discrimination from the world, and believing in them, Light agreed because they were the group who showed him kindness. They went to a dungeon like normal parties, but Light wasn't the kind of warrior who could pull his own weight, so everyone had to protect him. Sasha always got protective of him, and that made others tease her about her and Light's chemistry improving day by day. Sasha got shy and the Drago told her not to sweat it because Light was handy in his own way. He liked the tea Light made. Then they moved further into the dungeon, and when they saw a place good enough to take some rest, they all stopped. It was on a single pathway and Light was getting ready to make some tea. And that is when the lowlife showed their true colors. Drago kicked out Light from his party, and for a moment he thought they were joking. But Garu and the others, especially Sasha, let out their true feelings of how disgusted they felt taking a weak human into their party. It made them throw up every time they had to see his face. But now finally they could wash their hands of this dirt. Light was unable to process all this, that the people he thought were so kind were only faking it. They took him in only because of his unlimited gacha gift. Apparently their superior got interested to see what type of gift it was and thought he was a maestro. But they were wrong. Light was far from it, and he was a worthless guy with a useless skill, which made them want to throw away their dead weight. Sasha honestly let out that she would have thrown up if she had to marry a human, even if he was a maestro. That just showed the level of discrimination and prejudice humans had to face in this world. And now that it was done, Drago told Garu to finish him off. Light saw they were all serious, so he tried to run away for his life. But watching him squabble for his life made Garu even more excited to take his time in killing him. Sasha shot an arrow through his leg, so now the poor guy couldn't even run. Their official story was that the weakling died in the dungeon by some monsters. Their Garu was certainly enjoying the job, but to make his death look natural they asked him to hurry up. Even then Light was clinging to hope of life, and watching him just made Garu even more happy. Light had only wanted to live and his wish worked. He activated a teleportation trap, and before they could get him he went away from them. Now the guy was in a random place, yet still not safe, because the moment a monster shows up he'd be dead. All he ever wished for was to have a good life with his family, so he asked why did this all happen to him? Those people who had shown him such kindness were just lying. They fooled him, as they were lowlifes from the inside, especially for the person who was behind them all, because he wanted to see his gift. It was all his game to kill Light. So that's how a new villain was born in the depth of that dungeon, who made up his mind to get revenge on all of them. But a monster showed up, so how would that happen? He was weak as fuck and now he couldn't even walk. He realized he was in the deepest part of the dungeon, and now the only thing Light had left was his worthless skill of gacha. So pinning his hope on that, he pulled up another spin because he wanted to live to meet his family again and get his revenge. And it seemed like luck shines upon him now. The one card he drew this time was an insanely powerful maid. She shattered the mutt and with a swing of her hand cleaned up the mess from the area. Gorgeous and a beauty, she approached Light and bowed in respect. She healed his injuries in seconds, as it pained her to watch her master in such a condition. Truly her powers were in nemesis. Then she asked Light his name, and hearing that brought her pure joy, like it meant everything for her. And with it she swore her loyalty to Light until the day she dies. But Light was confused, so the girl said her level is 9999 and her name is May, a super ultra pro max card he pulled from his gacha. That's why she was swearing her loyalty to the guy. Light couldn't believe that, but she asked Light to call out her name. Her puppy dog eyes melted him away. Then she asked for permission to use her appraisal eye on Light because he thought his skill was useless. She saw Light had a devilish power, but it was under heavy concealment so no one could see it, especially his gift of gacha because he could spin it unlimited times. And the best part was that until now only worthless things came out of it because Light needs to be around higher mana density areas for using gacha. So when he was dropped down to the depth of this abyss where mana density was higher, pulling super ultra rare cards got easier. Yet even so Light was still weak, but Mei was here. But the guy didn't want that. He was reminded of his party who just betrayed him, so he was scared. Because he was weak with a pathetic gift and just wanted to provide for his family, Mei couldn't watch him in pain and pulled him in for an embrace. She promised to bring him their heads on spikes, every last one of them, if he ordered her to right now this instant. But Light didn't want that. He wanted to get revenge with his own two hands, and for that he wished to become powerful. Mei was ready to help in any way she could, and so Light pulled up another spin in his gacha there. But right here our today's episode ends, so subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon without forgetting, so that you won't miss any of the future updates. Till then, take care.